G'day guys, and welcome back to another video. Look, first things first, on behalf of Axel and I, we appreciate all the support you guys have given so far, whether that is through just watching our content, leaving a like and commenting, or just subscribing so you don't miss out on more videos. We thank you all. We have opened 100 loot crates for each tier this time and separated them into colours, as you can see. Then we have gone even further to separate these again by splitting them up into saddles, structures, weapons and armor, and lastly resources and tools. So let's open up the vault and dive right in.
Alrighty. Cheers, Frisky. And I would like to take this opportunity to express my appreciation to everyone who has watched my Maywing, Pearls and Shards and 30 Supply Crates later videos, as I've hit over 1k views on all of them, which is something I didn't think I was going to see for a very long time on this channel. But nonetheless, I have, so thank you to everyone who has shown their support to the cause and helping this channel thrive. So first things first, we're going to be looking at the green tier loot crates in the saddles section, so just separate it out. Alright, so in the saddles department, we see a range of armor values. So first glance, yeah, we see from a primitive Bronto saddle all the way up to roughly 60, 80, 86. Alright, so we got 86 armor rating, with the average armor rating being roughly 50 to 60, which isn't too bad. It's great for early game if you can manage to RNG the right saddle for the tier tame that you're wanting from the green loot crate. Just with any part of this video, feel free to pause at any time if you wish to see anything specifically, as we may flick through quite quick and you may not have a chance to sort of investigate properly. But green seems to focus mostly on lower level saddle tames like the Trikes. We got some Morellatops, we got some Pelagornis, Sarkos, Ravagers. However, you do have a small chance of scoring tech tier saddles. So with that one out of the way, we'll now move over to the yellow crate saddles. Alrighty, so yellow crate saddles, as denoted with the 20k spending price tag on there. First off, we see a big jump in the quality of the saddles themselves. There's lots of ascendant items. They just seem to be falling out of the sky with the yellow loot crates, ranging from high 40s to almost 150 armor, if you're lucky enough to get the RNG gods on your side for that one. As well as the quality, the kind of creatures we see here also take a step up. So we've got Tropio, we've got Tuso, I believe I saw a Rock Drake. Yes, I do. I see a Rock Drake saddle there, as well as a gas bag. So if you manage to get a decent gas bag and want to use it as a soaker, high-end armor would also be quite helpful with that. But apart from that, nothing else to really sort of spiel on about. Nice blueprints coming through there, especially with the Spino. So with this one out of the way, we'll now investigate the red loot crates that have a 35k Hexagon price tag. Alrighty, so the red saddles, or again divvied up as we do in every segment video. And of course, as we'd expect, there has been another huge jump in armor rating for the saddles within the red loot crates, ranging from roughly 40 armor and hitting the absolute stratosphere with this Maywing saddle at 222. However, the average armor ratings for these saddles seems to sit around the 70 to 140 region, which is exceptionally handy for those who are going to be using these saddles for soaking purposes. Perhaps maybe even going to boss fights if you're lucky enough to get a blueprint, but as you can see in the vault itself, blueprints are not overly common. Possible, but not overly common, and it'd be very expensive and time consuming to try and farm for just the blueprint itself. As well as the saddle quality going up, we don't really see an increase in the actual tier of creatures either. So we do have a Basilisk saddle there, but apart from that, there's nothing really here that wasn't seen in the previous yellow and green tier loot crates. So we do have a Theory saddle there and a UT saddle. Obviously the UT saddle would be nice if you're going to go for some boss fights, as well as the Stego blueprint there, sitting pretty at 96 armor, which put in some your crafting skill and just bump that up as far as you can depending on what level you are, and you'll have a nice soaker there, or multiple, because obviously being a blueprint you can craft multiple of them. But unfortunately we don't have a very good chance of obtaining tech saddles, so we're seeing the same amount in the reds as what we did for the greens and the yellows. But with that out of the way, I'll now hand you guys over to Frisky's capable hands. Sorry, that sounded better in my head. Hand you over to Frisky so he can take us through the structures of the different tiers.
Alright, thanks Axel. Okay, so we're going to dive straight in and have a look at the structures for the green loot crates. So as you can see, green structures, as you can see, there's not that much except for primitive items. However, there are some better items, as these are often sort of, I guess, mid-tier items that you can get or make. We do find that we see some of the newer items appearing here, like the ammo box and the loadout mannequin. But apart from that, I guess there's not that much else here except for some of those cosmetic items and things that people use for aesthetics, like the taxidermy base. So we'll move on to the yellow one now. Alrighty, here at the yellow loot crate, I'm going to have a look at our structures. So still getting some of those primitive items here, but more of those mid-game items do become available, such as the grinder, the chem bench, we see the indie forge, as well as even the water reservoir. These are some of those nice sort of mid-tier items that we can get. We do see that we get an increase of some of those new items, like the I guess the aforementioned the loadout mannequin, as well as sometimes we do get the ammo box I have seen previously. But we even find ourselves obtaining a bit of tech, not much, but we do scratch the surface for tech here. So we're getting the tech prop plot as well as the tech force field. However, it does seem that we do get more of those items again used for cosmetics, and those items are generally not used much in PvP and PvE. Like we are getting the rope ladder and even the war map. I do see people using the war drums, because who doesn't like beating a drum? They are fun. But we'll leave it at that and we'll move over to the red loot crate, guys. Okay, so red loot crates. So we're going to have a look at what we can get for the structures. Now, you do get a better bang for buck when getting the red loot crates. You do seem to get the occasional primitive and cosmetic items, but I guess that's okay if you're getting some of the better items thrown into the mix. So here are some of the better items, stuff like the chem bench, the grinder, the grill, the forge, appearing a lot more often. Though we are now seeing a lot more tech-wise. So those tech items appear, and we are getting items such as the tech gen, the tech bridge to get from point A to point B, as well as those dedicated storages to hold all the good stuff, even vacuum compartments if you wish to explore and have a base underwater. We're getting the force field again. We even seem to be getting a transmitter and a sleeping pod, as well as a teleporter. Though, surprisingly, one of my favourite items only seems to have appeared in the red loot crate, and that is the toilet. The throne. So, you know, if you want a toilet, then I'm guessing you guys are going to have to get the red loot crate. But apart from that, guys, this is all for structures, and I'll hand you back over to Axel.
Alrighty, thanks Frisky. So now that I have the reins again, let's delve into the weapons and armor that you can expect from the green loot crates. Actually, I don't mind good old throne. Might have to go later on. So at first glance, we see a lot of Ascendant... sorry, we don't actually see a lot of Ascendant items. Just saw the singular hatchet there and just assumed they were all going to be Ascendant. Whoops. But that's alright. So not a lot of Ascendant items to sort of choose from, but it's only green and it only costs 10k Hexagons, so I guess that's to be expected. However, we do see a wide variety of ammo, so sort of going from our primitive simple bullets all the way up to chain bowlers, cannonballs. We got some C4 sitting there, advanced sniper bullets for those of you using a Fabi, and shocking tranq darts, as well as some rocket launcher munitions there. No overly outstanding weapons, with only a small chance of getting the pump action shotty, and we do have a tech pistol down the bottom there, which isn't too bad. The armor seems to be in the same sort of category. We're predominantly seeing a big influx of cloth armor, as well as some fairly underwhelming chitin, gas mask, a little bit of ghillie, but very few pieces of flak. Yeah, singular blueprint and a singular pre-crafted piece, and both of them being chest pieces. So just be aware that flak probably isn't your best bet for these. The damage rating seems to hover around the 200% mark, or caps out at about 200% for each of the weapons, and the armor will sit around about 300, and that's just for the Mastercraft flak piece that's in there. So nothing to really rave about, but not bad for new starters. So with that out of the way, we'll now shuffle over to the yellow tier weapons and armor. So now we move on to the yellow loot crates, weapon and armor segment. Okay, so at first glance, and whoa, okay, so as we can see, we're definitely getting a lot more Ascendant items. There's a big jump in the quality here that we can expect going from green to yellow, which is fair enough considering yellow is twice as expensive. So yeah, it seems to be a common theme here. So the saddles jumped up, and now the weapons and armor have as well. Again, big variety in the potential ammo that you can get. So we've got a bunch of stone arrows, we've got spear bolts, we've got rocket launcher munitions, and I'm now starting to see some mech tier weaponry as well, and the new jar of pitch, which I actually am quite keen to sort of get started and doing some experiments with that. You do have a small chance of getting the pump action shotty. I do see a mining drill there. I don't see anything else really worth of note. There is a Mastercraft tech bow, which is nice. The shocking tranq darts, the tranq spear bolts and whatnot, they can be handy given the right applications. Plenty of grapple hooks for those of you who like to grapple around the map or use them as weaponry in PvP circumstances. We've also got 2 capped out Ascendant fishing rods. So I'm not sure if this is actually meant to be in here. I thought fishing rods were a Alpha Moser and Alpha Tuso drop only. However, they are inside this vault, so I'm just going to roll with it. Thankfully the armor seems to have taken a bit of a jump up, so now we're seeing decent hazard gear, better hide. Like, hide's not really that much better than cloth, but you know, it's better than cloth, so there's that. We're now seeing some riot gear take its turn in the emergence, and scuba gear. And apart from that, Ascendant wooden shield actually. I wouldn't mind getting one of those. Apart from that, nothing else overly fancy. It is a big jump up, so thankfully not too expensive. And 200 C4 out of 100 drops, that's probably not a bad RNG either. So with this out of the way, we'll now move over to the red tier loot crates. Okay, so now with the weapons and armor that come out of the red tier loot crates. Okay, so first glance, we see a big jump again in the quality of items, especially in regards to the damage that the weaponry is putting out. And a small increase in the armor ratings for the armor themselves. Some of these weapons actually are boosting some insane stats. 330% compound, 335 crossbow BP, What else we got? 300% long neck rifle, 335 pre-made Ascendant long neck rifle, 177 Ascendant tech rifle, 437 tech bow. Okay, well clearly these are going to be over damage cap for official servers, so I can only assume that these will just come out as a straight 298% if you're you're buying these on official. The new Ascendant minigun, 320% damage, 1400 durability, that's nice. Still got some more mech weaponry with the shield module and the cannon module. Lancers, which are just about useless. Heavy auto turret, so that's heavy auto turret. That's not supposed to be in. Oh, I suppose it is a weapon, but I'd class that as a structure. Not to worry, we'll take it as a weapon for now. Same with the auto turret, meant to be a structure, but all good. We'll forgive it this time round because of how useful they are. Underwater homing mines, which can be useful, but unfortunately you gotta place them so far apart that you can't really do much with them. They're a very small sidetrack. Ascendant riot shield with 21k durability. Well, if you want to take 20 giga hits, I suppose this is the shield you want to use. We're also seeing a nice increase in the armor ratings for some of these hazard pieces. So 338 BP hazard boots, 300% hazard gloves, 455 armor rating miner's helmet. I kind of feel as though Gen 2 might be a little bit unbalanced in a similar sense to what Extinction was, for those of you who remember when that first came out and people were farming up the Gacha crystals, and you get the Ascendant crystals sort of dropping off their backs. 12k metal shield. Well, that's just about wraps it up. I'm surprised there wasn't more tech involved with this. Sure, we got the bows, the claws, a grenade, and the rifle, but I was just expecting more, considering how expensive the red tier loot crate is. But nonetheless, if you're chasing BPs, red's probably the way to go. But still no better chance of actually getting flak or riot gear through the red loot crates, which is disappointing. So now I'll give control back to Panda to take us through the resources and tools of each of the loot crate tiers.
Okay, thanks Axel. We're gonna jump into having a look at the resources for the green loot crate. So, as you can see, there we get a nice assortment of resources here, though we get a little bit of element, a little bit of dust, but that is sort of a common thing across all the loot crates. We do seem to get a few seeds. As you can see, we get the Z seed as well as the Y seed. But apart from that, we get a couple of skins and a couple of bits of dye if you like to colour things in. It is nice if you're in a big tribe to colour your own stuff, just to make sure that people don't steal your things. So yeah, not the best loot crate for resources, but we do get a few broths and a few stews and a little bit of kibble for those who wish to tame some things with some regular kibble and things along those lines. But yeah, if you've got the money, if you've got the hexagons, then I wouldn't be getting the green crate for resources. But apart from that, let's move on to the yellow loot crate and see how they compare. Alrighty, the yellow loot crate. So we're going to jump in here and have a look at what we have. So we can start off just by first glance is that we still get a few of these skins, emotes, hairstyles and chibis, and I think that's going to be a common thing across all loot crates. There's still a small amount of element appearing, a little bit more this time, but nothing too impressive. You may as well just go farm that in the space zone. We do get a little bit of kibble that does appear, and that's not a bad thing. If you're not at the stage of making your own kibble, then getting a little bit of kibble from these loot crates can be handy whilst taming. If you're into farming or at that stage of having your own crops, then we do get a bulk load of fertilizer, and that seems to be a very, very common thing to get from this loot crate. So I reckon if you're going to get at least one loot crate from the yellow drop, you're going to get at least fertilizer. We do get all the seeds, however, this time. So we do get the X, Y, and Z seeds for the plant species, and they are very handy seeds to have if you are growing them, if you have their purposes. We do get a few more broths, stews, brews, and antidotes this time, as well as some of the blood packs for Bloodstalkers. But having just to scroll through and giving you a gander, a bit of a look at what we get, we do get a lot of those basic resources, a lot of the crops and berries, as well as some more dye again. But apart from that, let's jump right over and have a look at the red loot crate. Last but not least, we're going to have a look at the resources for the red loot crate. So having a look here, first things first is we have a lot of hairstyles, emotes, even chibis, and that's seems to be a high percentage to get these from the red loot crates. And for those who like, you know, throw a few emotes and have a funky, cool looking hairstyle, then this might be the crate for you. We do, however, instead of getting fertilizer, we get a bulk load of snow owl pellets. So they do have their use, but if you're weighing up whether to get a loot crate for snow owl pellets or for fertilizer, then you've got to choose accordingly. We do get a lot less of the consumables, i.e. being the broths, the brews, and the stews, as well as the antidotes. But swapping those over, we get a lot more of the other consumables, i.e. being some kibble. So we get some higher tier kibble, as well as the sweet veggie cakes and even wyvern milk. But yeah, saying that, the red and the yellow crates have their sole purposes for which kind of resources you do wish to get from them, so choose accordingly for what you wish to obtain. Apart from that, guys, I'll hand you back over to Axel.
Alrighty, cheers Panda. So now that we've all seen what is possible through the loot crates, we determined that the best bang for buck is going to be purchased through your yellow crates. Although red tier can indeed give you the god items that you're probably after, it's no good having a regular bow with 400% weapon damage when the yellow loot crates are giving higher tier sort of taming saddles and a better array of endgame weaponry and ammo. However, if you're after structures, so tech tier structures, etc., then red loot crates will be your go-to. But if it's weaponry and armor that you're after, then you can't really go past the yellow because, you know, 2 yellows almost equals 1 red, and I just like the odds better of you getting the decent weaponry and armor. However, red for tech tier structures and crafting stations. So again, we thank you for watching the video and supporting our channels, and as always, it's very much appreciated. We hope to see you in our next collabed video. Bye for now.
Is the red loot crate, and we're having
I wasn't ready. Sorry. Alright, no, we'll go again. It's all good.
You sure? Are you ready now?
Yeah.
Okay, ooh, fucking, let's start that one again.
Nah, fuck yeah, that's going in my video, fuck yeah.
Is it? Oh. Alright.